Hello visuals and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another Visual Guyz spoiler-free film review. This week, can you guess what, well you shouldn't need to guess what it is, should you? Because the thumbnail and the title give that away, you bloody right a little wrong guy. That's why I went Australian. We're here to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mutant Mayhem. We're going to give you a spoiler-free review. I am very damp because it was a wet walk to and from the cinema. And then when I got in, because I took my nephew because it's summer and I thought, do you want to tag along, come watch some Turtle shenanigans? It's like, got in the house and thought I would just start an absolute hellhole of a WWE match. So I'm a sweaty, wet boy. That's all right for living in the sewers, though. I went to the first screening of, well, the first public screening of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem and Visuals, and oh my god, this film was fucking beautiful. This was one of the best animated films I have ever watched, hands down, period. It was fucking beautiful on so many different levels. Before we get started, I think we need to just quickly list off. I've had to write everybody down so I don't forget, well, so I've probably still forgot people, but this cast is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Got the likes of Jackie Chan playing Splinter, Seth Rogen Bebop, Cena Rocksteady, Ice Cube playing Superfly, who was phenomenal as Superfly, by the way. And the other guys in there were amazing as well, but fucking hell. Post Malone makes an appearance. Paul Rudd's in this film. I always say this name wrong, but I know her from The Bear. She was phenomenal in The Bear. Ayo Edebiri. Girl from The Bear that's just fucking wonders in that show. She plays our April O'Neil in this film. Natasha Dimitriov, I think it's Dimitriov, the girl from What We Do in the Shadows. Another hilarious character to be playing in this. She's great in What We Do in the Shadows. She's phenomenal in it. I keep pointing as if TMNT's behind me. Rose Byrne, James Madston, O'Brien, Hannibal the comedian, Esposito, again another person I can't pronounce today, Moff Gideon from Mandalorian. It was such a great cast in this film, such an awesome lineup of voices to be playing these iconic, well, a lot of them iconic characters, some relatively, you know, not as iconic, but still, oh my god, the four young boys as well. I don't think I've ever heard or seen them in anything, that play, you know, Mikey, Raph, Leo, and Donnie. I don't think I've heard them in anything before, but wow, they did a great job as well at voicing the turtle. Literally give every sort of little element and aspect to each turtle that they need. You know, with Raph, you know, the occasional, not so much. It's not. All right, dog. Much in isolation this time around. You know, we kind of sometimes distance himself from the group, but the standaloneness and the toughness and the you know, the moments we get loud, get angry, you know, because Raphael's a bit of the wild card of the team. Mikey is innocent immaturity that was completely felt in this performance. Leo and his leadership and his sort of we need to do right, guys, all of that shone through. Donnie and his hey guys, bit of a nerdy whizzy whatnot, all of that shone through, and it was phenomenal. Film, the biggest thing I'm going to take away, and I say to you guys, you might take away, it does a massive fan service to bringing true justice to a TMNT film. I don't know what the dog's kicking off at. Honestly, it's they quite literally are teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in this, where our turtles in this particular film have dreams and aspirations of going to school and attending prom and just having fun and being accepted in society and find out who they truly are. They don't just want to be down the sewers. They want to go out and explore and be kids and do stuff and have all of these things and these relationships and these experiences and whatnot. And there's quite a nice vulnerability to the turtles in this, where there's a sense of, yes, they're together, but they're very lonely and they're very isolated, and they just want a little bit more out of life. And they come up with this grand plan of, let's stop Superfly and people will love us and we'll be accepted and whatnot. And there's a whole motto of doing things for the wrong reasons in this film. And, you know, April has it. She's the one that brings it up, and the turtles say it as well. And there's a nice, like, story building and character depth and turnaround and finding the true inspiration and motivation, the reasons why you should be a good guy. Like Leo towards the end say, listen, even though the people might not accept us and humans might not accept us, we should still be the heroes because it's the right thing to do. So I think it really embodied what an amazing, beautiful, well-thought, heartfelt turtle story should be. Well, as all of that hard-hitting stuff, it hits you so hard with the laughs. I've had so many laughs in the cinema this year, and this is by far one of the best. Paul Rudd's performance as Gecko, oh my god, amazing. Like, it's all four kids of the Turtles, the way they interact with each other. I imagine when I watch his performance that all four of them offset and on set and whatnot. They had a good time together. It just all flowed. I bet Ice Cube had a fun time playing this cool hip hop sort of New York gangster, but he was a fly, but obviously now he's Superfly, and Superfly's that's a clothing. Superfly's a clothing brand, isn't it? But is Superfly not like something they use in like slang culture over in America? Maybe it's not. I don't know. But Superfly. All of it was fucking outstanding. John Cena and Seth bouncing well off Bieber and Rocksteady. Not that they had the biggest amount of lines. And I think as well Seth Green produced, or helped produce this as well. Seth Rogen helped produce this. You are going to laugh so much, whether you're laughing with the other mutants or Jackie Chan as Splinter or the Turtles or the stuff April does. There's so many fun calls in this. There's so many little rips, like when the team's ripping Leo about being Batman, and Mikey goes on about how Mark Ruffalo improvised most of his scene as Hulk in the diner in Avengers Endgame and whatnot. There's loads of these fun little jokes, which was quite cool to reference that, because Paul Rudd was in Endgame as a part of that scene, and they all of it. I don't know, everything about it just rolled off my tongue. Just rolled off nicely. It just sat and left a great taste in my mouth of like, wow, this is so much fucking fun. It's what I say all the time in our spoiler-free and our regular views. The cinema for me is all about having fun. I know it's easy to go in the cinema and say, that's stupid, but I'm not there. I don't care if it makes it half the time. Oppenheimer, for example, I care if that makes sense because that's real world shit. I'm watching the Turtles here. I want to have a good fucking time, and I left and had a really good fucking time. Point where my only downgrade of this film would be the length. It's an hour and 39, and I when it ended, I was like, I could have done with another hour of that. I could have just kept going and going and going. It was purely some of the best fun I've had at the cinema this year. And I've had some amazing fun this year with Super Mario, with Spider-Man, with Barbie. It was great. Animation to this film, yes, Into and Across the Spider-Verse will still be, for me, the greatest animated films of all time. But this animation, again, was fucking beautiful. It was a weird sort of, I feel like there is a name for the, I'm not some art critic, I'm not one of the, it's an original Van Gogh, I ain't got a clue, but it's an art style I've definitely recognised before. It's like the people's faces were a bit distorted, and like we had like, so if there was like a square monitor, it would be a little bit misshapen and whatnot, and every now and again in the background, you would see like the artwork would be like a still picture of an art sort of type of thing that I've definitely seen before. It feels like, that famous, I'm going to have to do it in post, that picture of the person like that. It kind of feels like that sometimes in the background. A bit Borderlandsy, you know how Borderlands looks, where it looks a little bit scribbled and whatnot. It kind of had that like look up close. Whatever that art style's called, it works so well in this. It works so well in this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle world, especially with how the mutants and the ooze and everything come together. And especially towards the end when, not spoiling here, but when Superfly, something happens to him and the way that all molds and gels together, it just flowed and went in beautifully. When the dust's hitting and the rain's coming out, it looked amazing. It was beautiful artwork. It was beautiful animation. Like I said, I took my nephew to this, and he's a 14-year-old kid now, 15, and to get them off TikTok and not sat there looking at the latest memes and trends and what's going on. And speaking of memes and trends, somebody correct me, I actually haven't looked at it online. I'll probably do it after this. I swear to God, Mr. Beast is in this. I haven't seen any of his social. I don't know if there's something that's already been announced. It's something it's gone over my head. I could have sworn at the start of the film, somebody will say, oh, it's just costumes, blah, blah, blah. And they start tugging at the turtles. And it sounds just like Jimmy. It sounds like Mr. Beast. Somebody please correct me. Yeah, so as I was saying, instead of being on his TikTok or, dossing out with his mates or whatever the fuck it is they do, he sat and he was completely engrossed and he loved it. We left like, oh, that was really great. That was so much fun. And I was like, oh, well done, because it's, an hour and 30 minutes, like a lifetime to kids these days, because they do them 5-second scrolls, don't they? So I was like, oh, this film must have worked quite well, because he's not got bored, he's not shittering. What the fuck is shittering? He's not fidgeting or anything. It's a post-credit scene, quite relatively large. I'd say it's at least a couple of minutes. Some post-credit scenes like 30 seconds or even a minute. This is quite a large one, which does lead to some significance, and it's kind of a little bit of an obvious one when you get to go, yeah, I'm not surprised we're showing this. Had a really happy end of the Turtles. It's not quite often the Turtles to get accepted in the real world and can do their normal stuff. It has a very good, again, without spoiling too much, it has a nice flow to the end of it, and you're like, I'm chuffed for them, that's cool as fuck. The whole turnaround, the whole Mutant Mayhem, because it quite literally is a film about Mutant Mayhem and whatnot, and it's, I need to point out again, Jackie Chan was phenomenal as Splinter. There's my biggest takeaways as well from these films, that the fight sequences, it's so badass. There's a montage of the Turtles taking down, well, trying to get information of these different like crime lords, these different like gang bosses and whatnot. And each one's in a different facility. There's like a pool hall, there's like a kitchen, there's somewhere else. And every time they go to these different spots, there's a different turtle leading the pack. So it'll be Leo, then it'll be Ralph, then it'll be Mikey, then it'll be Donnie. And they go through, and it's like they open the door and they montage you all going through these different spots and a different turtle in front. And the way that it flowed, and with this animation and this art style, it just looked beautiful. And then Splinter later on goes on and has like a fight sequence. We use electricity and whatnot and stuff, and is showing him that he's an old rat, and like, oh bloody hell, he sits down, and it all worked. The fighting sequences, them montages and whatnot, absolutely great. The soundtrack as well, some awesome classic hip hop songs and whatnot on this, absolutely beautiful. I literally can't find anything other than the runtime disappointed about this film. It's some of the best cinema, some of the best fun you'll have in the cinema, I swear to God. It's dark and nitty and gritty as the Turtles can be, with the likes of, Shredder, who's a grim, awful, terrible villain at times and whatnot, and dark stories like The Last Ronin and whatnot. This is some of the most purest, most innocent turtle fun you will ever have. Like, the turtle t-shirt I've got on now is a little bit darker, a little bit more, less Teenage Mutant. Let's have some fun. I just want to go doss around and somehow go to school and whatnot. And, we literally experienced this version of the Turtles' first ever fight. There's a moment where they get into a fight and they're like, this is our first ever fight. And it's such a funny fight sequence as well. But yeah, TMNT, Mutant Mayhem. Is it obvious what I'm about to say? Probably. Massive 10 out of 10. It was phenomenal. And I'm in the middle of seeing the Funko Pops. I have Michelangelo, should be getting delivered at some point this week. We have Raph. But on the back, we need to, just for the normal collection, we've got Leonardo, April, Superfly, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Splinter. We will be getting the entire set because I love this film. It felt a bit more in tune with the OG cartoon, but still a little bit more lighthearted than that. It was phenomenal. Please, I highly recommend you check it out. There we go, visuals. That was my spoiler-free review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a Mutant Mayhem. I actually told someone I was going to see TMNT, and they're like, see what? I was like, TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They're like, oh, right, why didn't you say that? I'm like, are you fucking mental? Like, when you say TMNT, I thought everybody in the world knew who that was. But anyway, please let me know what you think of my review. That was so much fun to talk about. I'll come back with my nephew, because as soon as we got to the cinema, I was like, I was like, yeah, it was really good. I like this bit, I like that bit. Back to TikTok. Can I go get a Asda and get a Prime? I'm like, I need to vent it to somebody. But yes, let me know what you think of the film if you've seen it yourself. And I'm sure once Chris has come around to seeing it, or TV, the Xbox got off, we will do like a spoiler heavy review and whatnot, and all that carry on. Let me know your favourite turtle in the comments below. Mine always has been, mine always will be. You see him, Raphael will always be my favourite turtle. So visual, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for being you. Remember to always keep being you and keep on cowabungering on. That didn't quite work, but do you know what? We'll stick with it.